Okay, let's start. Let's create a branch. MK number 18. I have to use -p. Okay. We are now in the new branch. Let's run this one and see how much we have done. Suppose start. Okay. It's building. Let's try to see how it looks. Okay, as soon as app opens, we get this one. I put user 1 and password is P. Okay, I'm logged in as user 1, and when soon as I logged in, I see I'm on the users list page, and I can go to any of this one. Definitely, this chat will not come here because chat will be called when someone will call another user. So we'll remove it after some time. So there is special command we have to write down to remove this part. Otherwise, we can directly go to all other pages. The user list is the page where I see all the users, or I can search any user on my app, and then I can chat with that user. The chat list is something like, you have WhatsApp, you see all the users with whom you have chatted with. So you can see all the chats, and the recent one will come at the top. And you can also see how many are unread messages in the chat list. So that will come afterwards once we start the chat. So let's start building the users list now to make it work. Okay, so we are now on the page. So once user login, it goes to user screen, and the user screen at the top we have user list, and that's what you are able to see the user list here. So let's go to users list, and here we will be building all the users in our directory. So that's what we will be doing it now. So to get the users list, we must write the function in the path, and we will call that users list here. So generally, I use the Redux to get the users list. So let's see if we have this user site action. So here we will be writing our Redux code, and then we will do more from here. So first thing is, I will also create one util function. In this we have util pass. Here I will be writing all the functions related to pass server so that it is at one place and we are not moving here and there. So here I will first import the pass server, the parse, import pass from pass. If it is web, we will only call from pass, but now this is React Native, so we have to call pass React Native. Okay. So here I will be I will be trying to get the users for the users list. So let's create one function, get users, and this will be async function. Okay. So I have to get the list of all users from the parse server. So generally there may be thousands of users in my parse server. So I will be definitely calling the pagination for it. So let's create the query. Query for the parse server is new parse.query, and I have to give the table name. So the table name for the user is actually underscore user, but there's a constant available for that. It is called parse.user. So this is the table name available in the parse. If it is our custom table, we can call directly with the name, but user table is something the parse dependent. So we will use this name. So here I will be passing page, which page I am trying to access. It is 0 for the first page, 1 for the second page, 3rd for the third page. Then max record, how many max record I want per page. Then search, since we will be using search criteria, so I want to pass the search also if I'm trying to search the user. So initially by default search will be empty. By default max will be, let's say, 10 records. Page will be the first page, that is 0. 0 is the first page. Okay, so now let's build the query. If we have the search, if I'm passing search parameter, that means I'm trying to search the user. Then I will call the query.matches. Which field I want to match? Username. And what I have to search? This search field which is coming. And I will make it I. I means case insensitive. So if user is ABC and I'm trying to search ABC, it will work both way because it is case insensitive. This line is specifically used for case insensitive search and searching the username based on whatever user put. So it doesn't matter it is start or end. If the characters in the search are matching the username, it will find it. Then I want the descending one, the one which is created at letter. I will be using that, or I can also do ascending of username. Okay, so with username, I want ascending username. So I will see all the users with the username ascending. Then I have to do query.skip. So skip will be the page into max. So for second page, it will skip 10 records. For third page, it will skip 20 records, something like that. Then limit how many records we want per page. That is max. Then I will say query with count. With count will give total count also, which will be used in the pagination. Okay, now I will call the variable records equal to await query dot find. It will give me all the records. I will return the records. So this is the users one. Right now, I will be not implementing pagination, so I'll just return the maximum 100, and I will not use the pagination. But in few days, we will extend the pagination, and so let's keep the pagination in mind while building this one. So just put this in the util parse, and then I will move further. I give you in the Telegram chat this part. Okay, then once you put it, we'll move further. Okay, so let's go further now. Now I have to call these users in our action because we will be using Redux for everything. So we have to call this in the Redux. So let's build in the Redux. Let's go to site action. So first function we will be, let's import first the get users from the path, and I will create one function which will save it in the Redux. So I will say export constant get users from DB. So it's kind of database. So I'll say DB, and I will write a function, and here I will pass pagination, maximum number, and search criteria. And here, the Redux we return the dispatch. We return this function in the Redux. By default, it's get the dispatch. And here I will put the track latch proc. Why we are putting that track latch? Because we have the asynchronous call. So if we don't get the result from the backend, we will put it in the catch and we'll set it as an error. Okay, so try and catch. In the catch, we get error. So here we need something in the reducer to set the users. Okay, so we need some type. So for example, I'm dispatching type. We will set some type and we have to payload, send some payload. Okay, let's say payload is also an object. So type will be, I can say anything. I will use it set users because we are setting the users. Since when we call this one, initially we will put some kind of loading equal to 2. That means we are still fetching the record from the backend. And error is null. We don't get error in the beginning. And here we will call the backend call to get the users. And after we get the users, I will again call the dispatch with some kind of data which we get from the backend. So in the backend, when I call this backend this get user, what will be the type of the record? The type of record will be, it will be the object with count of something like 2, 3, whatever it is, and the results. Results will be the array. So we will get count and results in an object format from this backend. So once we get this object format, and if I want to put that object, so let's call this backend first, okay, get users. So we'll say constant records equal to await get users, and here I will pass all these parameters to backend. Okay, so once we get the records, it will be in the format of count and results in object format. So I can directly take the payload and I can say dot records. When I say dot records, that means it will take these two and put it inside this object. And the loading will be false because the data is now back and error will be null. So this records means we are getting count as records.count and results as records.results. So this is what will be the final version. So instead of writing 2 lines, I can put directly dot records. Similarly, if I get error, then I will put the loading equal to false. Error will be error.message, whatever message we are getting, and we will put the count as 0 and results as empty array. Because we're not getting any results, that means we're setting it to 0. Or we can leave this as it is. We will not update. We will update only the loading and this error part. Since I have used the set user here, type as a set user, I need to also put this in the reducer. Right now we have the test, but we will be putting set users also. And in the set users, I will update the state, update the users with whatever we get in the payload H. So first I will take the current users. So to take the current user, I will say .state.users, and then I will put whatever is coming in the payload. So whatever we have here, it will be action.payload. Whatever we have here previously, it will be appended with the whatever we are getting it from the payload, and payload is nothing but this one. So in what things we are expecting? We are expecting loading. Initially it is false. Then we have error. Initially it is null. Then we have count. Initially it is 0. Then we have results, which is initially we have empty array. So this all will be updated when we get something from the packet. Okay, so just put down in the action this one, and in the reducer add this users part, and also add this part. Okay, I'll continue in 1 minute. Okay, let's go further now. I will be also adding few more things in the users, that is which page I am on and what is the max of the page, and also I'll put the search part if user is trying to search anything in the user. So the user will does not have the only limited thing like this, but it will have additional things which will be using it on the page. Since we'll be not using pagination for now, but for future we are keeping this as for future. Right now it will show 100 records based on the search criteria. We will be using search part, but not these two right now. Now let's call this get user DB in our One second. One second. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So what will happen? I will call this user from DB, and it will call the backend call, get the results. It will set in the Redux, and it will be here in the Redux, and we can use this in our page. That's what the idea is. So let's call this function in our utils parse. Not in the sorry in the users list. Okay. So first thing is we need to call the import statement of from React Redux. Okay, so what we have to import? Use selector, then shallow equal, then use dispatch. Here I will call the dispatch. So any function which we have to call from action will be with dispatch. So use dispatch. Also I want to get all this users information here in this users list. So for that I will make one function. I will make that function in the action which will get the data from here, this one. So I will create another function called as export constant get user from state. Okay, and it will be arrow function, and it will get the state as a variable, and then I will return state dot sites reducer, because reducer name is sites reducer dot users. So whatever inside the users is there, I'll be returning that. So I will import this also in the users list. So let's import from Redux site section. So I have to first import this one, get users from DB, which will give me the users from the DB. Also, I have to get this value from the reducer, so that will be also here. Okay, so now let's call this. First we have to dispatch this one so that we get the data from the backend. So whenever we want to call the backend API, it should be in the use effect. Okay, so now I will dispatch what I want to dispatch. I want to dispatch this function, and this function expects page, max, and search. Right now I'm passing some dummy values. Later on I will put with the real values. Page will be 0, max is 100, and search is empty. Right now I'm calling some dummy numbers. In future I have to call it from here. I have to get it from here and pass it here. So here dispatch is the dependency. Okay. Reloading app is not working. Let's try to okay. Let's try to log in again. Okay. I'm logged in. So once we call this one, it will go to site action. It will get the record. Let's try to see what records we are getting. Okay, so let's see what we are getting. So we are getting count equal to 7. That is total 7 users are there in our database. And this is the detail of the results which we are getting it. So we have to loop through these results and show the users to the user list. So if I go here in my user state, let's see what we're getting in the state. So as soon as state will be updated, we will see it here. So first we have to call this one to see it here. So once we dispatch it, we saw that we are calling the backend API and results are in the Redux. Now here I will add another statement to get the details from the Redux. So it will be constant users equal to, I have to call use selector, and I have to call the function which will give me the users, that is get users from state, and I have to say shallow equal. So it will give me the shallow equal as its own function. I'll tell you later. I already told in previous lessons, but so generally shallow equal is called when the users is updated, and if it is not updated, it doesn't call. It is kind of react.memo. Okay, let's try to reload. Okay. Let's try to log in again. So we should not allow users to log in again if user is logged in, but that part I have to put it separately. Okay, once we are in the users list, you will see the state is having the site reducer. In site reducer, we have chat list, chat message, users. Users is having the count, error, loading. Loading equal to true initially, then loading becomes false, and we get this array of objects in the results. So this users is nothing but this object. So here we are getting page also, max also, and we are getting search object also, this search kind of thing. We are getting everything kind of here. So instead of passing 0 here, we will take this from here and pass it here. So how to take it from here? We have inside the users. Let me remove this console log. So in the users, I am getting page also. So I can see users.page. I am also getting users.max, and I am also getting users.search. And since these three are dependent, so I have to pass here also as a dependency. Okay, I have to pass this. I have to pass this. Okay, so whatever three I am using variable, I will pass it as a dependency. So the real page is coming from the Redux object. So tomorrow, if I want to change the page, I will only change page in the Redux. Then this will be called again without me doing anything. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so we got the data, and data is in the users. Now we have to loop the data here to make this work. So just before we go further, just put this file and then we'll go further. Let me give you this one. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute, then we'll move further. Yeah, let's go further now. Now we know that we got everything in the users object. Now we have to loop through the users object here to get the things. Okay, so what we will do? First thing is I need few more things from the React Native. One is called the text input. So because I will be putting the search part in the search, user can search the other users. Then I will need button. I will need touchable opacity, and then I will need a flat list to display the users. Then I need a refresh control. Okay, so these all things are needed here in this page. So first part here, I will put the search text box. Okay, so let me put search text box, text input. Let's put only text input for now. So here will be the search input where user will try to put something and click the button. Okay, so user will click the button here. So let's put this search in text input in another view, and I will create another view here to put the button. Here will the button will come, title equal to search. Okay, so the button will come here and the text input will come. When user will click this button, I will update this search value in the Redux so that it should call the database API again to get the new user detail based on what we have in the search field. But I also need one local state variable which will update the text input. So whenever user will try to type here, I don't want to update every time this part because it will be heavy call every time. I will be putting in the local state variable. And when user will click this button to search, then only I will update the Redux, so that database should call only when it is updated in the database in the Redux. So let's create another local state variable. Maybe I'll say input, set input equal to react.useState. Initially value will be empty string, and here in the text input I'll put as a value equal to input. And on change of the text, we'll call a function which will give me some value what user is typing, and we'll update this value here. So I'll call as set input with the value which user is typing. So if I do the input also, I will do like this. Now let's try to test it. Okay, here this text input will not be visible unless I give some styling to it. So let's give some styling to this input. Okay, so I will create in the style sheet, I will create one input style with the height of 40. You can put anything. Border width of 1, padding of 10, margin of 10. Okay, so let's put this one. And I will apply this style sheet to this input. So I will say style equal to styles dot input. So once I put it, you will see this border is here, and as soon as I type something, you will see the input is updating with the DDDD, whatever is there. And when I click search button, I will update the Redux, and once the Redux is updated, you will see this user's information is changed based on whatever we are searching. Okay, so let's try to do something, and this both should come in the same line, so we will be doing some changes for that also. Okay, so now let me do this one. Okay, let's do this one so you can see directly what's happening. So I want this both in the same line. So for that, I will go to the parent view. This is the parent view, and I will say style equal to styles. I will give the style flex direction. Since I want in the same direction, flex direction will be row. By default it is column, so I will make it row. Okay, since I made row, both are in the same direction, same level. I will make align items as center. It's going again and again to login page. We will fix that also. If user is logged in, I don't want it go to login page again and again. So once I put align items, you will see both are in the same level. Center is matching each other, so it looks like they are in the same one. And now I will give this one. I want to give some more properties to input box, so I can put it in the array. And I will put styles on input in the array, and also I will give more properties which I want, like flex equal to 1. Okay, flex equal to 1 as give. Okay, it's not taking the whole width kind of thing. because uh, we didn't put anything on the container level. So let's put one style sheet here in the view. Maybe I'll say style equal to style dot container. I'll give some style to the top level so that why it's not working. Let's see. I don't want to give arrow. Okay. So in the container, I will give something like x equal to 1. Okay, border width. Let's try to put the border width of 3. Okay, border width is fine. Let's try to put more something, padding of 15. Okay, margin of 1. Okay, so this is the container. Now inside container, I created a style sheet. Let's put the border width of 2. Okay, this is good. We have the border width of 2. And then I give the style dot input and flex equal to 1. Flex equal to 1 in style dot input, if this is correct. I give this flex as 1, but it's not taking the whole of the space. That's what I'm thinking. Flex direction is row and line item is center. To good. Let me see what I'm missing. Am I missing anything? Value go to this. So when I give, okay, so we have to give this flex 1 not here inside this. We have to give to view kind of thing. Otherwise, because I want this text box to take the whole space, and I cannot put this inside the text, inside the view. We have to give at the top level of this one. So let's remove this. I don't need array then. I will put it in the parent. Okay, now it's taking the whole space. This part is taking the whole space. And we have search box. Okay, let me remove the border, top border, which is 3, 1. Let's remove this border also. Okay, so now this is text box and this is search. Let's increase the size of this search one. Style equal to height equal to 40. Okay, this height is not working here. Height is not working here. Let's put it here. Oh no, not working this one. Okay. Let's put padding of that. Okay, this styling on the button is limited. We have to use touchable opacity to give more styling kind of thing. So we will replace with touchable opacity and give more styling in update. Let's finish this one. Okay. So when we press this button, whatever user has put in the search, it will go in the Redux and we will show it based on what user want to search it. But today, I don't want to finish this search part. This part we can take later. First, let's finish the display of whatever we are getting in the users one. So let's finish that one. So this view is something which is of the text box. Let's create another view here, or we can directly use the flat list. So in the flat list, we will put some criteria. So first thing, flat list, we will put some criteria. We have something called as data. And if we see data comes inside this users one and users.results. So I'll say users.results. Okay, so this is a flat list coming. Then we have the key extractor. So what will be the key which we have to mention? It will be the arrow function, and each item will come here as item. So extractor will be, key will be item.id, because whatever we are getting from path, it has ID. So I will return item.id. Okay, so let's return this one. It's still not displaying anything. Let me finish more things, kind of thing. We have to render the item. So once I put render item, then something will come in the flat list. So in the render item, we get object, and each object has item in it. So I'm putting the item here. It's still nothing coming. Item here, and then here I will return. What I will return? Another view. Let's put the view. And inside the view, right now, I will just put, item.id for dummy sake to see what is coming. Okay. Okay, so we cannot put directly, we have to use the text component. Okay, so once I put a text component, you will see all the IDs are coming like this. Okay, so let's make some styling for that one. I will put style equal to styles.item, because each item is coming here. I will give some styling to this text item also. Style equal styles.text. So let's put this item and text styling here in my style sheet. So let's first start with the text styling. So I'll say color. Color should be #000. So text will be the black color. Font size will be 35. It should look big. Font style will be italic. And then margin will be 10, for example. So it looks bigger. Now I will also assign some styling to this item. Okay, let's put some styling to the item. I'll put the background color of #4AE1FA. So we give some background color. Let's give, you can choose anything. This is just a dummy one. We will find some good looking also in the future. So give the width and margin 10. Okay, margin 10 is breaking. We have 2 comma. Okay, so we look like this one. Now let's try to put the real name, username. So instead of ID, I will say item.get name. So you will see the real name is coming here. Okay, so by default it comes all the users, 100 users by default it will come, and it will come ascending the name of this one, because we in the parse function we did ascending by username. Okay, we can do descending also. Then it will come user pi as a first. We can also give descending created at. So whoever is created last will come here. We can do ascending created at. Then whoever joined first is coming here. So we are able to see the users here. Now let's fix the search part. If I put DDDD, it only saves in the local state variable. And when I click search button, I want it go to Redux. And once it will go to Redux, this users list will be updated based on what user has searched. So right now, we have, we just call the set input this. So when user will click this button, search button, I will call the Redux to update the search one to whatever user wants to pass, kind of thing. We have to pass this one, right? So when I click search, it will update the search in the Redux with the value which we have here. So to do that, in the site action, I will create another function, export constant search user, and this will nothing but has a dispatch. Still, this will be not a asynchronous call to the backend, so I will remove the async part. It will be non-async, and here I will dispatch. I will dispatch the search parameter only. So what I will dispatch? I will dispatch the search parameter with whatever user is searching. Let's say user is searching with some value. I will make search as whatever user wants to search. So whenever I call this function with the value, it will update the set user with the what value user is searching. When it goes to reducer, it will only update whatever is in the payload and keeping all same. So when I search something, only the search part will be updated, all will remain as it is. So as soon as I call this function, it will only update the search part. And once the search is updated, it will call this use effect again with the new search value and will get the users from the database based on what user is trying to search. Okay, we also have to take care if the results coming from the backend is empty. Okay, but that will take next time. Let's try to only make search workable. So on place of this one, so I have to call this function also here. Okay, so when someone will press this one, on press, we'll call the function, and here I will call this dispatch function. And in the dispatch function, I'll call this search user. And whatever user has typed in the text box. What user has typed in the text box is in the input field. I'll pass the input field here. So as soon as I press search, it will take this value, go to data, update the Redux, and once the Redux is updated, it will call the database with the whatever value is searched. So let's try to put some common user. I will put user only. We have lot of users with the user 1, user 2, user 3. Let's try to search. So as soon as I click search, as soon as you see the count has reduced to 5 because all these users have username of 5. Though the name displayed here is P, but username is 5. So if we want to see the username also, let's try to put in the bracket the username. Item dot get username. So let's see what is the username. So if you see, all has user in the username. That's the reason when I put user, it's searching the user here. Let's try to search with user 1. So now it only searches the user 1. So whatever I will search, it will search based on whatever we have. So what it is doing here, so what we are doing here, whenever someone is pressing it, we calling the search input. This will only update the Redux. It will call the Redux with the search value whatever user has put. And once the search is updated in the users list, this part is updated. Since this part is updated, this dispatch is called again, and we get the new data based on whatever his user has passed this one. So this makes our search complete. The only thing is next time we will make more of it. When I click user 1, I should be able to chat with user 1, 2 with this. So we will give linking to each record so that we can chat with that user. Right now search is working fine and user list is working fine. The next time we will make the chat working. So let me give you this one so you can put it. This is from the users list. We change the actions. So this is the actions, and we change the reducer. This is the reducer. So right now, when user log in, it will see this page, and he can search the user in our directory, and he can chat with any of the user. So the main logic which we discussed few weeks back about the chat. What is the logic? We put it in the text file. Here is the text file. This one. So this chat one. So we will be using this logic, which we talked few weeks back, how the chat master table will be updated, how the chat list table will be updated. So we'll work on this part next time and make the chat work in a working condition. Any questions?